Good morning, pilgrims. I'm going to do a little video on finding and carrying water on the Camino. One of the reasons I'm doing this, because I know I've posted the blog post, is because sometimes people like me, for example, would prefer to see a video than to read a long blog post. So I just thought this might be easier. I'm just going to go through my blog post basically and make this video for you. A lot of times people ask, how hard is it to find water? How much water should I carry? Um, are the fountains safe to drink from? Should I carry a bottle or a bladder? Should I buy water along the route? And so here are some of my answers. Regarding the fountain water, whether or not it's safe, the answer is almost always. It's almost always safe. The water is tested regularly. It's generally either spring water or it could be city water, depending on where you are. They know that pilgrims as well as locals drink from it, so it is tested and it is safe. The only time that I don't drink fountain water in the smaller villages are if it's raining so hard that the streams that you pass over are running muddy. They're brown and muddy looking, not clear. Then I probably wouldn't drink from the fountains because you're walking through agricultural land and there are a lot of cows, pigs, sheep, horses, and there's manure on the land, and if it runs off into the spring, it could temporarily contaminate the springs for a few days till it flushes out. So if it's really brown looking water and raining really hard, I probably wouldn't drink from the fountains. During a heat wave, I may not drink from the fountains, depending. I mean, I don't walk in the summer anymore. I made that mistake one time and I don't do it anymore. But if I were walking in summer and it was like a super duper heat wave, like 110 degrees or something Fahrenheit, then I may not drink from some of the springs because it could be bacterially contaminated. And the other time I might consider buying water is if you have a tummy that's sensitive to changes in water. Now, I've never had a problem at all, none, on the Camino. And in fact, the water, if it's not drinkable, will say non-potable, Nonpotable, and that means don't drink it. That means not potable, not drinkable. A funny story, one time Joe and I were walking, we were really hot, really tired, and we came into a village, I don't remember where it was, and there was a fountain there, and it had two spigots. And we were like, oh yeah, we can both get water at the same time. We're both so thirsty. We started drinking and drinking and drinking, and then we happened to look up, and the one where I was drinking said potable, and the one where Joe was drinking said non-potable, and we're like, uh-oh. So we just kind of laughed, and we went to the nearest bar, and he drank 2 or 3 shots of whiskey to kill anything in his gut, and he was fine. He never had any problems at all with it, but that was kind of a close call. But you might remember that just in case. Whether or not to take a bottle or a bladder is kind of a personal matter of preference. I prefer a bottle. Joe carries a bladder. I carry a bottle for a lot of different reasons. For one thing, I like the fact that the water will be cold if I get it from a fountain. There are enough fountains along the Camino Frances that I can fill up in every village if I need to. I'm not a huge water drinker. 8 ounces usually lasts me all day. I drink a lot of water in the morning, a lot of water at night, but during the day I don't. I like the fact that the bottle fits into the pocket of my Maccabee skirt. It's easy to access. I like the fact that it's easy to clean. So I like carrying a bottle. Joe, on the other hand, carries a bladder. I don't like washing out a bladder at the end of the day. I think a bottle is safer, but I don't know. People have different preferences. He likes the bladder. He doesn't mind washing it out at night. I guess he doesn't mind drinking warm water. So it's just up to you. Purchasing water, there's water all along the Camino that you can purchase. I don't really like the idea of that because all of those plastic bottles have to go into a landfill somewhere or be recycled, and I see them discarded along the trail, and that really disappoints me. I don't like it. But I guess the thing to know is that the water in Spain is just as safe or safer than any water in the United States. Spain is not a third world country. It's very safe. their infrastructure is better than ours in many ways, and that includes their water system. So I do not worry about the water in Spain at all. If you're walking other Camino routes, like the Via de la Plata, for example, or walking from, I don't know, maybe from Montserrat, where the stages are longer in between villages, you may need to carry more water. On the Via de la Plata, we made the mistake of walking one summer and we weren't prepared, and many of the fountains were dry, so that's something to consider. In fact, we had to be rescued by some firemen because we were completely out of water, and luckily someone happened to come by and bring us water. Otherwise, we could have died. I mean, it was really a serious situation. So I would say if you're walking on some of those routes where the villages are like 30, 35 kilometers between, and you're walking in the summer, then you may want to carry more water. But I've walked on the Aragonese and I met a Spanish man once, and the only thing he carried was an apple between stages. He just didn't drink water between stages. So it's a matter of personal preference, just as with shoes or boots. How you carry your water, what you carry it in, and how much you carry is a matter of preference, and you just need to make up your mind for yourself and maybe try. If you just want to try carrying a bottle and you decide you want a bladder, there are places along the way you can buy them, and vice versa. If you want to take an inexpensive bladder and then you decide it's just too much to mess with, you can find bottles all along the way. So it's a personal choice. The water is safe in Spain to drink from the fountains. So I hope this little video has helped you, and I hope you have a good day planning your Camino. Buen Camino.